Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Rhea Ripley wasn't part of last night's episode of WWE Raw, with Michael Cole noting that she had remained in her native country of Australia after heading down under to promote the upcoming Crown Jewel Perth event. Ripley missed Raw, and in her absence, Iowa was attacked by Giulia and Roxanne Perez, and there was no one in the locker room to help the Women's World Champion. Following the show, Sky sent out a message on X, making it clear that she was coming for revenge, and the Eradicator has since offered her services. Ripley and Sky have had some issues with the duo in the past few weeks, but the two women have also had their own fair share of issues with each other. They collided on the road to WrestleMania 41 and at the show of shows for the Women's World Championship, and it seems that Mommy has already made it clear that she wants a rematch. Meanwhile, a tag team match between the duo and the NXT stars has already been made official for next week's episode of Raw. However, Ripley could be pushing for Sky to admit that she needed the Australians' help to take out Giulia and the Prodigy. Rhea Ripley and Sky may be enemies when it comes to the Women's World Championship, but several weeks ago, Mammy made it clear that she was the only one who was allowed to hurt the Genius of the Sky because she wanted her title back. It seems that their alliance at present is based on mutual hatred for the two women who have recently burst on the scene from NXT, and it may be enough for them to be a cohesive unit on Raw next week. Interestingly, WWE has opted to have the match on Raw instead of the Backlash PLE, which currently has an underwhelming card. The WWE Universe was still reeling from the shocking events of Monday Night Raw when an unexpected development sent fans into a frenzy. Rhea Ripley, the brutal and dominant force of the women's division, broke her silence on social media with a cryptic post that hinted at an alliance no one saw coming. Following her conspicuous absence from Raw amid escalating tensions and Judgment Day's growing internal discord, the message she delivered was as chilling as it was intriguing. 3 words, time to evolve. But it wasn't just the caption that got people talking, it was the image that accompanied it. A black and white photo of Ripley with none other than Shayna Baszler. The image was grainy, seemingly captured backstage, and not meant for public consumption, yet it sent the WWE community into investigative mode. Was this a teaser for a new alliance? Was Ripley stepping away from Judgment Day to align herself with someone even more dangerous? Or was this all a calculated mind game designed to keep her enemies guessing? No matter the answer, one thing was clear. Rhea Ripley was plotting something massive. The former Women's World Champion's absence from Raw was already a talking point. Her shoulder injury storyline, stemming from the brutal backstage attack by Liv Morgan weeks ago, had taken her off the road, and with WWE playing coy about her return timeline, speculation was rampant. Some believe Ripley was biding her time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Others feared she was legitimately hurt and might be out for months. But this unexpected post turned the narrative on its head. Suddenly, Ripley wasn't just healing, she was planning. Backstage sources began whispering about tension brewing behind the scenes. While Judgment Day remained a dominant force on WWE programming, cracks had started to show. Damian Priest had successfully cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania 41, becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion, while Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio seemed distracted and uncoordinated in their most recent tag match loss. Without Ripley, the group lacked its spine, its enforcer, and fans noticed. But perhaps Ripley wasn't planning to return to Judgment Day at all. WE correspondent Kathy Kelly managed to briefly speak with Shayna Baszler during a SmackDown taping, asking about the photo that had taken over Twitter and Instagram. Baszler, known for her stoic demeanor and icy glare, simply smirked and said, "Rhea's got taste. She knows strength when she sees it." She refused to elaborate, but her words only added fuel to the fire. The idea of Ripley and Baszler uniting was tantalizing to fans who remembered their brutal clashes during the early days of NXT. Both women carved their legacies with brutality and dominance. Together, they could reshape the entire landscape of WWE's women's division. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan, ironically the woman who sidelined Ripley, was thriving in her new heel role. She was unapologetically vicious on the mic and in the ring, gloating every chance she got about putting Mommy on the shelf. She claimed she had slain the Nightmare, proclaiming herself the new face of the division. But her tone noticeably shifted after Ripley's post. In a backstage segment that aired exclusively on WWE's digital platforms, Morgan was seen throwing her phone across the locker room in frustration. "No way she's coming back already. No way," she muttered, pacing furiously. Triple H, now the chief content officer of WWE, remained silent on the situation when asked during a press scrum. "Rhea Ripley is one of the most important talents we have. When she's ready, she'll return. Until then, the locker room should stay on high alert." His cryptic answer did little to calm speculation. Fans didn't have to wait long for more. Just days later, WWE released a WWE 24 mini-documentary focusing on Ripley's time away from the ring. In it, the former champ was shown training in an underground gym, lifting heavier than ever, sparring with MMA fighters, and watching clips of Shayna Baszler's matches on a loop. In a rare out-of-character confessional, Ripley looked straight into the camera and said, "You have to break things apart to rebuild them stronger. Judgment Day gave me power, but it also gave me limits. I'm done being limited." It was the most direct indication yet that Ripley was not returning to Judgment Day, and not returning alone. Social media exploded once again, this time with hashtags like #BaszlerRipleyAlliance and #QueensOfViolence trending worldwide. Fans began fantasy booking matches that could redefine WWE's women's division. Ripley and Baszler versus Damaged CTRL. Ripley and Baszler versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Even Ripley and Baszler versus the Kabuki Warriors. The possibilities were endless. But there was one faction not thrilled about the news: Judgment Day. On Raw the following week, Dominic Mysterio, visibly shaken, tried to cut a promo addressing Ripley's status, only to be interrupted by Finn Balor, who shouted, "If she doesn't want to be here, she's out. Judgment Day moves forward without her." Damian Priest, standing behind them with the world title draped over his shoulder, looked conflicted, not saying a word. That silence didn't last long. On WWE.com, Priest gave a post-show interview where he hinted at regret. "Rhea's family. At least I thought she was. If she's making moves without us, then maybe this whole thing was never about unity." It all came to a head 2 weeks later during a main event contract signing between Liv Morgan and a mystery opponent for an upcoming premium live event. As Morgan sat at the table with her smug grin, the lights went out. Rhea Ripley walked out flanked by Shayna Baszler. Morgan's face drained of color as Ripley stormed to the ring. No words were exchanged. Ripley signed the contract, then shoved it across the table to Morgan, who hesitated before signing. The show ended with Ripley hoisting the contract high above her head, while Baszler stared down Morgan like a predator eyeing its prey. The alliance was official. In the weeks that followed, Ripley and Baszler dominated every segment they appeared in. They left a trail of destruction, attacking not just Liv Morgan but also women's tag teams, singles competitors, even security personnel. Their promo segments were eerie and violent. Ripley spoke of revolution. Baszler spoke of annihilation. Together, they promised to erase every weakness from the women's division and replace it with fear. In a moment that sent shockwaves through WWE, Ripley even confronted Damian Priest backstage. The two shared a tense conversation, with Priest saying, "This ain't you, Rhea. You don't need her." Ripley coldly replied, "I don't need anyone. That's the difference." With Survivor Series on the horizon, rumors began swirling that WWE was preparing a War Games match featuring Ripley, Baszler, and two surprise allies against Liv Morgan's team. Fans speculated names like Sonya Deville, Alba Fire, or even a returning Mandy Rose might join the chaos. Meanwhile, Judgment Day's internal collapse seemed imminent. Finn Balor openly declared that Judgment Day had evolved beyond needing old ghosts. But in a shocking twist on the Go Home episode of Raw before Survivor Series, Ripley delivered a backstage promo that shocked even her staunchest fans. You thought this was about revenge? No. This is about evolution. And sometimes, evolution goes full circle. The camera panned to reveal who would be joining her at War Games: Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, and, shockingly, Nia Jax. The Women's War Games match stole the show. Brutal, bloody, and emotional, it ended with Ripley pinning Liv Morgan clean in the middle of the ring after a riptide from the top rope through a table. As her hand was raised in victory, she didn't celebrate. Instead, she looked directly into the camera and mouthed, "Mommy's home." Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.